In a fiery clash that's taking the political world by storm, former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi tried to publicly put rising Republican star Karoline Leavitt in her place. But what happened next left the entire nation stunned. It all unfolded during a tense moment at a televised panel discussion on Capitol Hill. Pelosi, known for her razor-sharp tongue and decades of political maneuvering, attempted to undermine Leavitt, a former Trump White House staffer turned congressional candidate, with a condescending jab about her lack of experience. But Karoline didn't flinch. Instead, with the composure of a seasoned stateswoman and the fire of someone who refuses to be underestimated, Leavitt shot back with a response that instantly went viral. Experience doesn't mean spending 40 years in Washington enriching yourself while the American people suffer. It means understanding the real struggles of everyday Americans, something you clearly forgot a long time ago, Leavitt said, locking eyes with Pelosi. The room fell silent. Even Pelosi seemed momentarily stunned. The audience erupted in gasps, followed by thunderous applause. Within minutes, the clip had taken over social media, with hashtags like LeavittMcDrop and Pelosione trending across the country. Conservatives hailed Leavitt as a bold new voice, unafraid to challenge the political elite, while even some moderates admitted they were impressed by her poise and conviction. Political commentators were quick to weigh in. One CNN panelist called it a defining moment for Leavitt's public image, while a Fox News host said that was the political equivalent of a KO punch. Whether you love her or hate her, one thing's for certain: Karoline Leavitt just sent a message to Washington and America heard it loud and clear. The aftershock, how one moment redefined a rising star. As the panel discussion wrapped, the political earthquake that had just unfolded began to ripple across the airwaves. The mainstream media scrambled to reframe the exchange, but the damage was done. Leavitt's clapback had pierced the heart of the political establishment like a dagger wrapped in truth. Within hours, cable news was locked in a frenzy. MSNBC called it disrespectful. Fox News called it revolutionary. Social media called it legendary. Clips of the confrontation racked up millions of views. Even liberal-leaning TikTok creators couldn't deny that Leavitt had delivered the kind of raw honesty we rarely see in politics anymore. Memes exploded. Reaction videos poured in. And across the heartland, people who had never heard her name were suddenly asking, "Who is Karoline Leavitt?" The backstory: a clash of eras. On paper, it looked like a mismatch. Nancy Pelosi, a political titan, the first female Speaker of the House, a master of deal-making and partisan warfare. Karoline Leavitt in her 20s, fresh-faced, bold, and unapologetically America first. But that's exactly why it resonated. Leavitt represents the next generation of conservatives, unafraid to speak plainly, unwilling to play by the rules of the D.C. elite, and determined to fight for middle America without flinching. In the days that followed, she capitalized on the moment with laser precision. Her campaign released a polished ad featuring the clip, overlaid with dramatic music and footage of everyday Americans, farmers, truckers, small business owners watching her viral moment and nodding in agreement. Her tagline? "I don't back down. I speak up." Donations poured in. Pelosi's camp in damage control. Behind closed doors, insiders say Pelosi was furious about the exchange. One unnamed staffer told Politico she expected to make an example out of Leavitt, but it backfired completely. The speaker underestimated her. Publicly, Pelosi tried to dismiss the moment as just political theater, but even friendly outlets were quick to point out the rare miss. Analysts noted that her response, or lack thereof, betrayed something even more damaging: she didn't see it coming. And in Washington, underestimating your opponent can be fatal. What happens next? With her popularity surging, Leavitt now stands at a crossroads. Republican strategists are already whispering about a fast track for her, possibly a keynote speech at the RNC, maybe even a Senate run in the near future. But the left isn't taking it lightly. Democratic PACs have begun launching opposition research. Hit pieces are trickling out. One prominent progressive blog labeled her Tomi Lahren 2.0, but with actual political ambition. Still, Leavitt seems unshaken. She posted a simple message on X, formerly Twitter: "The swamp is scared. Good." The bigger picture. Beyond the clash of two women from wildly different generations and ideologies, This moment laid bare something deeper, a shift in the American political landscape. Where Pelosi once represented the glass ceiling being shattered, Leavitt now represents a wrecking ball aimed at the entire political house of mirrors. And whether you believe she's a breath of fresh air or a dangerous provocateur, one thing is certain: Karoline Leavitt just changed the game, and she did it in under 30 seconds. The fallout, frenzy in the Capitol. As Washington reeled from the viral exchange, Pelosi's allies launched into immediate damage control mode. Behind thick mahogany doors and bulletproof glass, strategy meetings at DNC headquarters dragged into the early morning hours. Insiders say Pelosi's inner circle was rattled. One high-level aide was overheard saying, "We didn't just lose control of the conversation, we handed her the microphone." By sunrise, the talking points were circulating through all the usual channels. Legacy media began flooding the zone with op-eds. Leavitt's outburst wasn't leadership. It was immaturity, the danger of echo chamber politics. Don't mistake confidence for competence. But America wasn't buying it. The Leavitt surge. As the media backlash intensified, Karoline Leavitt did something unexpected. She leaned into it. Instead of retreating, she scheduled a freedom rally in Manchester, New Hampshire, her home turf. The venue was only built for 3,000. Over 10,000 showed up. Some came from out of state. Many waved American flags. Others held signs that read "Experience Integrity" and "Leave it Pelosi." The energy was electric. Leavitt stepped onto the stage to the sound of Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down." Wearing a simple white blazer, she raised the mic and smiled. "They said I was too young, too inexperienced, too bold." Well, guess what? They were right, and that's exactly what Washington needs. The crowd roared. She went on to deliver a fiery speech, railing against career politicians, D.C., hypocrisy, inflation, and the elitist machine that tried to silence her. But it was her closing line that had the internet in flames again. "They tried to humiliate me. I gave them a history lesson instead." Inside Pelosi's war room, a brewing storm. Meanwhile, inside a discreet Capitol Hill townhouse, Pelosi met with a tight group of loyalists. Gone were the cameras, the smiles, the rehearsed sound bites. "She wants her team to dig," a source whispered to Axios. "Old-school politics: find dirt, apply pressure, neutralize the threat." Democratic strategists were split. Some feared that going after Leavitt too aggressively would turn her into a martyr. Others argued that letting her rise unchecked would be far worse. One aide reportedly said, "We need to remind people who she really is before she becomes untouchable." The mission was clear: discredit the symbol before it becomes a movement. Shockwaves across the GOP. Back on the right, Republican leadership was watching with cautious excitement. Many saw echoes of a young Sarah Palin, but sharper, more disciplined, and fully fluent in the language of viral media. Others whispered that she could be the future face of the party, especially with Gen Z conservatives rallying behind her. Donald Trump himself reportedly called Leavitt personally. He told her she did tremendously, and that the media storm meant she hit a nerve, said a source close to her campaign. Then he told her to keep punching because they only punch back when they're scared. A nation watching. Across America, the political winds were shifting. Suburban independents were tuning in. College students were debating the clip. Truck stops and coffee shops were buzzing. No matter your view, one thing was certain: this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a cultural turning point. The epilogue, a moment that echoed beyond politics. In the weeks that followed, the media storm began to settle, but the ripples never truly stopped. Karoline Leavitt continued her rise, appearing on major networks, packing town halls, and winning over crowds with her blunt honesty and unapologetic style. Pelosi, meanwhile, returned to the halls of Congress with the composure of a seasoned warrior. Though bruised by the moment, she didn't fall, and in private, even she admitted the importance of what had happened. According to a senior aide, Pelosi told her staff, "You don't stay in this game by pretending the world doesn't change. That girl has something. Watch her." And that may be the most profound truth of all. The lesson: the power of voice in a changing world. What started as a moment of attempted humiliation became a lesson for every American, from the most powerful Capitol insider to the quietest small-town citizen. The message? Never underestimate the voice of someone who speaks from conviction. In a time when politics often feels rehearsed, filtered, and driven by polls and consultants, Karoline Leavitt's bold retort was more than just a mic drop moment. It was a reminder that real power doesn't come from age, title, or seniority. It comes from knowing who you are and daring to speak up when it matters most. In that single exchange, a new generation found its footing. An old guard was forced to listen, and a nation weary of the noise found something rare, a moment of truth. And maybe, just maybe, that's how change begins.